Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you are on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And it's been a little bit since we've done a new music showcase, but it's also been a while since a record has hit as hard as the new release from Crobot, Motherbrain. It'll be released everywhere on August 23rd. It's the band's fourth release overall, but their first in 3 years and first after some changes. And I have vocalist Brandon Yeagley on the phone with me now to talk about the new record. Welcome, Brandon.
Hey, Jeff. How's it going?
Doing great. And as I mentioned, it's been a while since 2016's Welcome to Fat City. And you guys have undergone some personnel changes and a label change. Can you talk a little bit about what's been going on with Crobot over the past few years?
Yeah, like you said, we changed labels, and Mascot Records is putting a new record out. Super excited to work with them. Everything thus far has been great, and they're working their tails off to set us up for success in this next record. And we're really proud of what's come out of the sessions that we've worked with Corey Lowry on. It seems like forever ago since we started the songwriting process, like you said, 3 years. But I think because of that, we wrote the best album that we possibly could have. We took our time in the songwriting process, and we really put the microscope to these songs quite a few times. And, it's really cool to have fun writing songs again, and to really have pulled down the boundaries. And it's just a for fun, free form sort of songwriting process that we underwent for this record. And we worked with some outside writers as well for this record, which we haven't done before. And we just really wanted to try everything out this time around.
And how weird was it, if at all, working with outside writers for the first time? You and Chris Bishop, guitar, you guys really did most of the writing beforehand, so was it weird giving up a little bit of that?
No, because I think we really paid attention to just working with guys that we genuinely trust, and guys that we respect as musicians and artists, and most of which we've had the pleasure of touring with. So we've had, more often than not, a semi-personal relationship with a lot of guys that we work with. Now, in the case of working with Johnny Andrews, our label approached us and said, "Hey, we got this guy we'd like you guys to work with. Would you be interested in that?" And we said yes to every opportunity working with anybody. So, it's cool to have another kind of like a fifth member in the room to kind of throw ideas off of and try to pull out the best song that you can. And I think, that stretching ourselves beyond our means and taking ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit usually makes for some sort of evolution, and really had made a lot of these songs better, whether it was I wrote together or songs that we worked with writers on. A couple of those made the record as well. I think it just changes you as a songwriter for the better, usually forever, because we try to learn as much as we can throughout the process, and working with other people just really lends you sort of like an inside eye of how somebody else's process works. And I think we just, we take that, we welcome it with open arms, and we will always bring everything we've learned from those situations. And it's changed us as songwriters forever for the better. And
honestly, it shows. Motherbrain is a great record. Musically and lyrically, I think it's a little heavier and darker than some of your other releases. Is that something that you kind of were aware of as you were writing it and bringing in some of these other writers, or afterward did you look back and say, well, that's a little different than what we've done before?
Yeah, I think it's something that I definitely paid attention to during the songwriting process. Our records are usually, on the whole, some sort of concept, some sort of story arc and conflicts between characters. Something Supernatural was more about, the magical world and the parallel universe, if you will. Fat City was about being on a different planet, and Motherbrain is right back on Earth and coming face to face with humanity and what it means to be human. And I think that's where a lot of the themes came from for this record is, being that we were off for 3 years, a lot of life has happened for us in the band. And I think that's sort of changed the perspective forever. But also definitely something that I kind of kept my finger on the pulse with, and to make things a little more relatable and not so much about demons and wizards.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say demons because, the devil always makes a cameo.
Yeah. And we'll get to that too, trust me. Yeah. But it's weird. It's one thing I really like about your band is as heavy and deep as the record is, you guys do everything with a sense of humor, which is great. And you have videos out for 2 songs so far, Low Life and Keep Me Down. Who comes up with the ideas for the videos? It almost reminds me in a really good way of like the old Twisted Sister videos where you have this heavy song, but you have this hysterical video to go with it.
Yeah, most of the time it's just, we're never short of ideas here in Crobot Camp. So most of the time it's just like, well, what if we did this? What if we did this? And we never think that anything is going to come to fruition because we never think that anybody's going to go for any of our crazy ideas. But for the Keep Me Down video, we just kind of rolled with it. And a lot of the stuff that happened there was loosely planned, but until we get into a room together and start riffing, if you will, with the scripts and the shots of and work with the directors and bounce our ideas off of them, a lot of that stuff just happens on the fly and off the cuff. So it's always a lot of fun to make videos.
And sort of swinging the other way, you mentioned the devil making an appearance. That song right in the heart of the record, Stoning the Devil, to me, makes the record. Has just this epic feel to it. What was sort of some of the creation behind that track?
That was, I believe, the very first song we wrote for the record. And this is going back before the Fat City record cycle was even done, we were writing. It usually doesn't take us too long to get back into that process of writing songs. So that one was one that we wrote very early on in the songwriting process. And it just stuck. It just always stuck. It just always reared its dark, ugly head into being one of the songs where it's like, we can't leave that one off the record. That's like quintessential Crobot to us, is that song, the heavy riff and just bringing that whole Soundgarden influence of what we hold near and dear to light and or to dark, I should say.
Yeah. And you bring up Soundgarden. What were some of your influences? And again, anybody listening to Crobot, you hear the Chris Cornell influence, and I think as much as the Audio Slave work as the Soundgarden work, as well as bands like Alice in Chains, Monster Magnet. There's a lot of that comes through, sort of that doom rock with a killer melody. Yeah,
those bands that you mentioned all really made their way to the front of the line this record. We really wanted to bring that 90s grunge sound to this record. It's songs like Blackout and Stoning the Devil. But on the other side, we always want to keep some kind of funky element going as a parallel as well. And Alpha Dog for this record was the one song. It's like, I love it so much because I had my chance to kind of bring in some of the weird influences that I try to bring to the table a lot of times, and it just doesn't work. Like, how many times can you bring Frank Zappa up as an influence for it to actually work, let alone in a song that's also got some influence from George Clinton. So, that to me is like, it's very much on that end of the spectrum, and I love it because it's kind of a no-hold-barred funk influence of weirdness, and it's not contained in any way, and I love that song for that.
Yeah. And now you have a few shows coming up around the release of the record, but are you guys setting up any kind of full-scale touring? Are you going to be joining with any other bands as you hit the road? What's the future of the cycle for Motherbrain hold?
I mean, right now, we're just in the rinse and repeat cycle. Mm-hmm. For the next 2 years, I presume, we'll be out there and hitting the road hard, as we've always done. I mean, we're a live band at heart, mm-hmm. and we're most comfortable in life being on stage. So I think, this record cycle, hopefully for us, is going to lend its hand into keeping us out on the road, and we hope to have similar opportunities to go out with some really awesome bands that we have in the past, and we look forward to the upcoming tour cycles.
And that's great. And I got to tell you, as a fan, I got a really good feeling on this record. As soon as I heard it the other day, it grabbed me immediately. And not a lot of records coming out around now do that. So it was really cool to hear. Wish you the best with the record. And any upcoming tours, feel free to send over any tour dates, things like that. We'll get it out there for you. And just best of luck with a great record. And everyone pick up Motherbrain on all the digital outlets. You guys have physical copies off the website. And definitely go out and check it out.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I'm glad you enjoy the record. We had a lot of fun making it, and we're very proud of what we did. And can't wait for the rest of the world to hear it.
Yeah, and they will soon. And hopefully we'll catch you on the road at some point. And thanks a lot for taking some time.
Absolutely. No problem. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Bye.
Take care.